Welcome to the Gynergy effect, where energy meets intention and transformation begins.
We're your hosts, Garen and Yessie, partners in life, love, and purpose.
Here to share the tools, truth, and stories that helped us build a life from the inside out.
Whether you're seeking deeper health, conscious relationships, or your next level of purpose,
you're in the right place. Welcome to another edition of the Gynergy Effect podcast. We're so grateful to have you here sharing your time and energy with us. And today we have a very special guest, somebody that really understands men and relationships and how to really create those great outcomes that you're looking for in that connection. My man, Josh.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Welcome, Josh.
I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah. We're even more excited probably because me and her with the Gynergy effect, it's all about relationships, connectivity. We're really, dial in on strategies around that, being intentional. So we're excited to dive in, find out some different ways that men can learn from you and implement maybe some different structure into a relationship, or just help them, have a little bit more success, because I know there's a lot of men that are struggling. Before we get into that, what is the thing, when you think back, that really inspired you to go down this journey and helping men in relationships?
There's that phrase, I think I've told you this, but your mess becomes your message. And I know a lot of people resonate with that. And I know you do.
Yes.
A lot of us
Big
do.
Time.
Right?
I had a lot of messes.
Yeah, I remember in grad school, literally every person the field they were focused on, they were dealing with themselves, right? So cheated on my first relationship. I thought only old married couples get cheated on. And so that was kind of like an awakening experience for me. I was like, oh crap. And then that sent me into psychology, and then the pattern repeated. And when that pattern repeated, I was like, okay, either all women are cheaters, which some guys adopt that and some women adopt that belief, and that just repeats for them, unfortunately. But I was like, maybe I'm the common denominator here. And so I learned more about what makes a successful relationship, and realized I can't really do much with a psychology undergrad degree. So I got my master's and started posting YouTube content, learning, just kind of sharing what I was learning. And that pain was just that initial best thing that ever happened to me, right? To send me down this path of self-learning, self-development, and then teaching others the things I was learning along the way.
And isn't it crazy how the adversity and that vulnerability ends up becoming our biggest strength in life?
Beautiful, right?
Yeah. So you got your master's in psychology?
Maritime therapy.
Okay. Yeah. And now you're a licensed therapist, right?
Been licensed for about 10 years, yeah.
What do you think for maybe men that, because it's like what you attract into your life is kind of somewhat of the messaging that you say within yourself, right? So if you always think that a woman's going to cheat, then you're probably going to either attract that or create that outcome in different ways, maybe through the insecurities that you have. What did you learn through that experience? What were some of those, it sounded like a pretty big gut check, right? When you went through that?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of guys, it's like almost a predictable pattern. A lot of guys they'll have that pain and they won't process or heal from it. And so they'll adopt a belief system that is not really conducive towards success. A lot of it's like red pill stuff where it exposes a lot of truth about female nature, but it's also attached with these negative beliefs and limiting beliefs around women in relationships, and they kind of get stuck there. But yeah, going back to this law of attraction, right? It's like your brain can't tell the difference between what it wants and what it doesn't want, it just sees it and then goes for it, right? So if you're living through fear, you're going to create that, you're going to embody whatever that is and receive that. Yeah. And you're not, and there's going to be little moments where you're attracting someone maybe who would be a good fit for you, but I just don't have the spark's just not there, and you can't tell why. Well, that spark is actually your soul. It's not going to that thing that you need to heal, right? So you attract these people in your life that create the same pattern, essentially.
So you attract the people in your life that create the same pattern. So funny that you say that, because I have conversations with people all the time. They're like, oh, there's no good men or there's no good women in San Diego. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, I walk around San Diego. That's why I think about it all the time. There's great people everywhere.
All the people we know.
There's incredible people. I say, well, where are you spending your time?
And what
where are
energy
you meeting? And where are you meeting these people? Because if you're intentional about that, and maybe look at your environment and it's a reflection. It sounds like what you're saying is the relationships you track may be a mirror of your beliefs and some of your limiting
and
beliefs.
where you are in life, right? At that point.
Where you are in life as well. Yeah, I remember being on a date with this woman a couple of years ago, and cute girl, we're hitting off, and then she started sharing about, she dropped the line like all her exes were narcissists, and I was like, oh no, like all men this. And for me, I was like, red flag, you know, and just like that's. And I'm not gonna sit there and do a therapy session with a girl on a date, but I was like, well, it's just not a good fit, you know. So yeah, a lot of guys have those same beliefs, and a lot of people are unconscious of it, though they're not even aware of it.
So true.
Right? It's just so automatic for them, and no one really questions it. And why it's such a beautiful thing to be with other people who are like a higher level than you, just so they can call you out on those beliefs.
Having that accountability and that elevation, like so raising your vibration and the way that you see the world. I mean, because how we speak inside is what creates our reality outside of us. And I see a lot of people focusing on, instead of focusing on what they desire, like green flags, right? Focusing, there's this big green flag, red flag thing, and we did a funny little baby green flag, red flag. That's kind of, it was pretty cool. But
yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on focusing on red flags versus green flags when you're on a date.
Yeah.
There's just to be a lot of people focus on the red flags, and sometimes it puts them in that negative headspace where they're just looking for something wrong.
Yeah, I've gone down the Instagram ecosphere being caught, and I'm like, wow, like being in this kind of trap of seeing what people receive all the time. And it's simple but not easy. You're right, though. It's like focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Yeah.
But that process is so automatic to us.
Yeah.
And 95% of our thoughts are automatic from the previous day, from our subconscious mind. So that's the work, though, is like catching those thoughts and then replacing them. But to your point, Essie, I was just like, I think you should be aware of those red flags when they come up, but don't look for them. Like give trust, right? And then when something goes against that trust, then you're aware of it, but don't look for the negativity.
Yeah. So better to go in with an open mind, with trust, with compassion. And then if something comes up, then you'll be like, okay, maybe this is a bit of a red flag.
Yeah, I know there's studies on this. I can't quote them, but you know, people who just give trust first are just so much more happier in life, right? It's like, I'm going to live with an open heart. And if I get hurt, that happens.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Versus living with protected all the time, then you're never going to get love, right? So
I couldn't agree with you more. We just actually,
That's powerful.
on one of our previous podcasts, we just ended up talking about that. It's when you have your heart and you're open and you're vulnerable to be heard, that's when you can have the biggest gifts. But if you close that off, you're just closed off. You're not going to attract
the other person a permission to also be vulnerable back. And that's how you actually get to connect with them, right?
yeah, to be a little bit vulnerable, I went through my last breakup, and I was in the shower crying, and there was a moment where I was just like in so much pain, and I like had this visualization of wanting to put my heart into a cage and be like, screw this, I'm gonna go back to being an F-boy and all this stuff. I was like, no. And the reason that kept me open was like all that pain was worth the love that I also received.
Right.
And I remember I did Iboga about a month ago, and one of the visions I had was I saw this glass island heart in the sky, and it was cut in half. Half of it was pink, half of it was black. And on the pink side, I saw all the images of dates and love and sex and intimacy and cuddling. And on the black side, it was the pain, the betrayal, the lies, the deceit. And I got the vision that all of it was love. It's all love, right? The pain is a part of love. Part of it. Accepting that, right? So.
It's part of the human experience. That's what creates such a blessing, is to have the human experience, is you have the pain, you have the joy, you have the sadness, you have the happiness. Because if you didn't have that correlation together, we would just be AI, would be a computer program.
And everything in life is relative, right? If you have the pain, it allows you to have a greater appreciation for the love, for the good.
Yeah, 100%.
Allows us to find our purpose a lot of times too. Exactly. Like what it did with you. What would you say when you're in it? Because it's easier to, elevate out, and obviously you're a great looking guy, and people are watching this and are like, man, if this guy, that happens to him, it could happen to everybody, right? But what would you say on when you went through that process of like, and I commend you because I did the same thing, is I started to see a pattern repeat on just communications, like there'd be this trigger that would happen, and I thought it was my previous relationship. This person was what was causing that, and then I got into another relationship, and I saw that same thing, and I was going through a lot of self-work at that time. And when I saw that, I was like, boom, okay, now I know that necessarily wasn't them. That's a pattern that I'm creating, or that now I'm falling into, right? So I gotta, as soon as I see that, now I break that pattern, I become conscious of it, and I take action around it to take myself, to one, become aware of it, take myself out of it, and then reestablish a new pattern from that. Yeah. And that was a strategy that I kind of went through. But if you can walk through going through that, being cheated on, being hurt, and then how did you go through that when you were in it? Like, think about those times that you were in it. How did you rebuild yourself to then be somebody that attracts and creates a new cycle.
Well, I had a blessing of being cheated on multiple times, right? Like a lot of these guys I work with, like their wife cheats on them after 30 years, right? The first time they've been with her since high school. It's like they don't get that lesson until they're 50.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was fortunate enough to have it happen to me multiple times early on in my life, right? But it's one of those things, like if you think of the ego, right? It's like this encapsulated crystal, and it's like it has to be break enough in order to change. But like sometimes people, they don't break enough. And I think God is going to keep on giving you these lessons until you finally learn them. And it's going to hurt more and more each time, right?
It hurt more and more each time.
And it's like, why do you think the divorce rate's 66% for second marriages and 75% for third marriages? It's because like the people are not learning the lessons from the marriage, right? And
Just repeating the same patterns.
exactly. Yeah. And Tony Robbins always says, like, we change from inspiration or desperation. And the guys that come to me that work with me, they're at the place of desperation. And 3-4 months in, they're like, what the biggest gift I've ever received. Like, I'm so thankful for this pain that I've received. But a lot of guys, if you're stuck in a pattern yourself, it's just like you have to pause and ask yourself, like, what is my role in it? And the villain that we have, for me, at least, Karen, I know you resonate with this, and you too, Yessie, is the victim. It's like, it's not because of me. You know, it's because, oh, my wife's a narcissist, or she's bipolar, it's her mental health, it's a church, it's her therapist, it's her single friends. It's like never yourself. And so if you can start with the foundational concept that it is all about you, from there, that leads to growth, right? So.
And everything that happens for us, not to us.
Yes, it sounds like taking accountability, right? Personal accountability.
Yeah, I mean, because like if you think about it, it's like one of those things like working out or eating healthy. It's like it's not good on the front end, but on the back end, it grows. It helps you. Right. It sucks to say, man, this was because of me. Maybe I'm not as loving or caring or attentive as I thought I was, or a good communicator. Yeah. And it hurts in the front end, but the long term, it's like, okay, look at yourself in the mirror. Now I can improve and grow. Right. Right. Yeah. And so it starts with that. But
so ending up not closing off, keeping an open heart and an open mind, and then having self-reflection to say, okay, what actions or what patterns am I repeating that is attracting this into my life, and what can I learn from that? Understanding that this is a human experience, and the pain is part of the love, and all of that is the beauty of what this is, and really embracing that aspect, and then you can have some really attract the right relationships.
One thing I'll say too, exactly. And one thing I'll say too is that a lot of guys who are maybe only in one relationship, well, it's like the pattern can repeat within the relationship. That's why I think Dr. Gottman, do you know the Gottmans?
We've done all their stuff.
Yeah. So they said, I think 68 or 69% of problems are perpetual, same problems over and over. And that's because a woman, at least, because I work with men, like a woman is showing them through her criticism or the feeling of disconnect, what are the patterns within him that are blocking that intimacy? Right. And a lot of times it's stuff that from his childhood that, you know, he learned as protection mechanisms and defense mechanisms to keep him safe. But with his wife, it's like it's not working. So you have to change and adapt, right?
What are some like tools or frameworks that men can use to identify these patterns? Sometimes when you're in it, like it can be hard to identify if it's something that you're doing over and over. What are some of the tools that you have used or seen work?
An advanced one, which I'm sure you guys have knowledge on, is the shadow work stuff, right? Yeah. And for those who don't know, shadow work is from Carl Jung. He talks about these parts of ourselves that we had to lock away as children because we weren't accepted. Let's say it's for man, the typical one is like, I can't show vulnerability or being sad. So I put that sadness within myself and it comes depression. And so looking back at your childhood and thinking like, what parts of myself did I have to neglect? And then basically what the shadow happens is when you put that part away, it comes out unconsciously.
Different ways,
Right. So if it's like for myself, I'll use myself as an example. I was very shy and timid growing up. My brother was very outgoing and loud. And so I put down my confidence thinking that it was arrogance, and I would never let myself speak my mind. I was always not sharing my opinions. I was holding back. I wasn't expressing my full personality. And people thought I was just being arrogant or cocky or whatever it is. But no, I was just shy. Right, but I was repressing that part of me until I became aware of it, where it came from, because my brother growing up, that awareness is 80%, and then it's just taking corrective action over time, right? In those moments when you would normally, your emotions are like, don't share that opinion, don't share your political beliefs, or don't share this. It's like, no, I'm going to step into conflict. And luckily for me, I worked with people on parole and probation and anger management as a 22-year-old. And I had to sit there for groups of like 30 men who were like all out of anger management, and there was almost fights. And so I was thrown into the fire of like stepping into conflict. That was my kind of initiation path. But for a lot of people, it's just that awareness piece is first.
I think that has been a big learning lesson for a lot of people, and just humanity in general and our society, is conflict can be a good thing. and not standing up for your beliefs or not sharing those beliefs because you don't want to like ruffle the feathers or whatever, I think is where we see a lot of narratives or things that may not be commonly believed by most people end up gaining all of this traction because people are like, I'm not going to speak my truth. I'm not going to, because it's uncomfortable or it's going to create conflict. And I think you started to see a big shift once, I mean, especially when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I think now you're seeing a big shift where people feel like, hey, I need to speak my truth. I feel obligated to do that because I've seen so much that maybe I was suppressed within me. What have you seen in life as far as the difference when you were passive that way and didn't stand up compared to you being in your power and in your strength as a man and sharing and standing up for your values and your beliefs?
Yeah, I shared with the person I've been dating last night. I was like, I said, everyone likes me, and if someone doesn't like me, they don't know me. but the thing is, I mean,
funny.
it's really about having the courage to be disliked, though, right? And And if someone dislikes you for one opinion, do they really know you?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Do they really know you? And
people like to label people.
Yeah, we put things in boxes, right? We stereotype. It's just, it saves calories, right? It's a mechanism that we always do.
Conflict's an opportunity to really understand someone better. A lot of people view conflict as divisive, but it can really be an opportunity to understand someone at a deeper level.
100%. And then you look at that on a societal level, what's been going on with the divide. So it's like it starts with your individual self, though, right? That's what I focus on, at least. And
knowing yourself first. That's the
key. Yeah. See, good point. Yeah. Like knowing who you are and what you actually want, right? Because a lot of our opinions, we got them from other people. And it's like no one really questions. They kind of live on autopilot, right? Like I'm gonna believe this. I'm gonna go with this political affiliation, this religion. They don't like guess or second, take a second to actually go inward and say, this is what I really want,
and keep an open mind.
Yeah, and for going back to full circle to the guys, like the majority of the men I work with are like the typical nice guy, right? And so they kind of really struggle there, is like they've sacrificed pieces of who they were and what they really believe to make their wife happy, to keep the peace, but really their wife is losing respect, right? Because in order for her to respect you, you have to have strength, and strength is delivered through those boundaries that you have, which you have to come across, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I call them non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
I have negotiables and non-negotiables, and my non-negotiables are non-negotiables.
Yep.
And if you break those, and that's that. And we know that. And me and Yessie are both in this relationship because we desire to be in the relationship, not because we are obligated or we're trying to grab onto each other to hold each other there. And it's like I trust her 100%. And then if she made a decision to go do something that's out of alignment with her, I'm not going to hold her back from that. That's her decision, right? And so I think sometimes people are like, oh, I got to hold on so tight. And when you try to hold on some, that's usually when it dissipates. But when you just protect it and hold it and give it its space.
It's so funny you say that. I literally give an analogy to the guys when it comes to boundaries and assertiveness, and I put it on a spectrum because everything's relative, right? Yeah. It's like I say, there's guys that are controlling. They use the bird cage. They put their wife in a cage. You can't do this, you can't do that, ultimatums. There's the guys, majority of them, there's no nest at all, right? It's just, there's no boundaries. She can't even sit there, and so she'll leave. And the bird nest, what you just created, is like, I have my boundaries, but I'm not trying to cage you in.
I love that analogy. And to add to that, I feel like having those boundaries and non-negotiables, that's what actually makes you a high-value man. And to a woman, that's super attractive. That makes me even more attractive.
Makes you feel safe, right? Because he's consistent, like, he's predictable, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So true.
One of the things I also help guys with, you say non-negotiables, is helping them identify their core values. There's a really good exercise. It's on Jeffrey Scott, 200 core values. Okay. I had them scan over it with their eyes, write down 15, then narrow down the top 3. So and then for like the quarter, they're like, these are my 3 values as a man. And values, I see them, they serve as like signposts on how to direct your behavior. So a lot of guys, when they come into a situation where there's conflict, they're like, okay, my wife is talking to this. I had an example a couple weeks ago. A guy was like, his wife was talking to her ex-boyfriend in high school, but they were just having phone conversations. Oh, he's just a friend. I'm just catching up with him. And he didn't know what to do because he was afraid if he like set a boundary on that, like I'm not okay with that she would leave the house because they were already rocky. And it's like us men, like women have an internal compass with like connection and love. Yeah. I think us men, we have an internal compass with respect. We're feeling disrespected.
Respect is huge.
We're feeling disrespected. Yeah. And so I got him to basically say that one of his core values was respect. And so he's like, based on your core value, that signpost, you are going to say something about this. Yeah. Right. So.
Such great perspective. Yeah. You can really walk somebody through an exercise like that, to have them come to that determination. That's, because being a great coach or being a great mentor, it's not about telling people anything. It's being a great mirror and a reflection, and people be able to see fully. That's every hero's journey, right? What about, you talked about childhood a little bit. What was your childhood like?
I think, see, it's unfortunate. I'm comparing it against, like, I've worked with drug addicts and, the worst of the worst, right? And a lot of abuse and trauma. So I'm comparing against them, which is like, I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
I had my issues. Myself and my older brother, he was pretty abusive toward me. We're better now, but it was pretty bad. And then other than that, it was a great childhood. Like, it really was, yeah.
Where'd you grow up at?
Northern California, East Bay.
Okay.
So if you know Northern California well, it's not Bay Area, it's Tracy. It's like right off the 5. Yeah, small little town.
That's cool.
Small town boy.
So small town boy.
Yeah.
What prompted you to come down to San Diego?
And logically, women, work, and weather.
Women, work, and weather. Those
W's,
are the W's, baby. Let's
love
go.
that, actually.
But there's actually, like, I think from a spiritual reason, I'm supposed to be here. Just my people are here. And there's actually a book. It's like a life path book. And I know this is kind of esoteric, but like my friend Mary French, she's very like a spiritual woo-woo girl. And I love her to death.
Esoteric.
She found this book where it's like you take when you were born and it puts you on a line across the earth. And my line cuts right through Southern California, right through San Diego.
I feel
I have
like
to take a
mine
look at
does
that. 'Cause
too.
when I came to San Diego for the first time, I felt drawn to this city. Like
home.
I knew like this was my city. It felt like home right away. Like I
Yeah.
knew I was gonna move here.
Yeah. It's just,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Sir. I got a question for you, because I like to ask people this. I asked somebody this on another podcast too. So people, I think esoteric is definitely has its place, and there's a lot of really incredible parts to that. And then there's, people, Christianity, right? And so like religion and different Buddhism or whatever. But there's all these different parts that intertwine together. I think it's just the way that people say it or frame it, right? And like the Bible gives great structure, and different religions give different ways to view it. How do you see how all those things kind of line up? You're pretty spiritual.
I was watching
like
this philosophical podcast, and he said if this cup is like God or reality, or however you want to define it, it's like Christianity sees it like this, Islam sees it like that. So they're all looking at the same thing from different perspectives. So they can't see certain parts of it, but other religions can. But they're all pointing at the same truth fundamentally. I like that analogy. So
I like that. It's one thing I know is there's the one, and then we're all part of that. Like we're all connected. We all
waves in the ocean.
All our energy is shared.
Yeah.
Waves in the ocean.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Really good,
Alan Watts really opened me up to that whole concept.
I love Alan Watts, man. He's so, I could just listen to him. If you haven't checked out Alan Watts, check out Alan Watts. Because he is like, he's so poetic, and his voice, it's just, I'll listen to him in the morning, and it just puts me right in this perfect, like, just zone.
He's the one man in the whole entire world that I would have a beer with, but also just like has completely give me these like mind-altering, reality-shifting moments of like I had to pull over one time and like stop and pause. Like I saw reality completely differently when he was talking about like how ancient Vedic philosophy and religion, how they view like how life is a drama, and we're all playing these roles in our ego, and we're all connected to the one source. And it was just like, wow, yeah. Anyways,
so powerful. Who would you say? So Alan Watts. Who are some other people that have impacted your life or inspired
Tony Robbins,
you?
I mentioned him already. Tony's he created the
Tony
whole coaching
Robbins,
space. I mean, that guy has
he's,
saved so many lives, like such a huge impact on the world. I think we don't even realize the impact he's had.
He's a trailblazer.
Yeah, he really is.
He's the Michael Jordan of
Personal development.
Yeah, and he's been doing it. Michael Jordan had to retire, right? So like he's continuing on impacting the world.
I know. Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. This guy named Owen Cook. He had a like self-development company. Still has it. I watched him like in college, and he really helped me like come out of my shell. He teaches social skills.
Yeah.
So like how to socialize and become more charismatic. So I'd say those are the main
I
ones.
think it might have worked. I think that may have worked there.
But man, yeah, just forcing myself to start conversations with strangers. That's the secret to.
Isn't that the funnest part?
Yeah.
I love that.
Darren has mastered it for sure.
That is my favorite thing to do in
I
the
have
world.
a theory why comedians are so charismatic, because they force themselves to like learn what mass levels of people find accepting or not accepting, so they just unconsciously know what to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
They can drum it up real quick.
get people to like
be
them.
interesting and engaging.
100%.
So what would you? So if you were gonna give one piece of advice to a man, we'll do two different scenarios.
Yeah. Okay.
One is a man that's been in relationships but is currently single, and he feels a little bit lost. He's one of those people that tell us they're in San Diego, and there's no good women in San Diego, and they
Those out there.
they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
What would be the advice that you give?
You know, again, bringing up Tony Robbins. I'm not sure if he created this quote, but he basically said, you know, if you want to be successful, find what successful people have that they have that you want, and then just do what they do, right? And so I would find someone, ideally a coach, right, who has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a really good friend. Shout out to Lloyd, single guy. He's in Austin, Texas. He's a dating coach, really, an exceptional dating coach. And he told me about a guy in San Diego who had that exact problem. And I'm like, well, where's he going? What's he doing? He's like, oh, he's just scrolling on Hinge, you know. And it's like,
Right.
I was like, has he been to a music festival? Have you been to Cross? Like, you know, how many beautiful women are at a music festival? And like, how many approaches you could do in like a 2-day span? Like,
Just get the reps in.
like, I mean, so yeah, it goes back to those. I would challenge your own beliefs, and but I would also kind of like we start with the beliefs, right? Or start with the vision, right? Like, what do you actually want? Do you know what you want? Who the woman is? How she makes you feel? What her standards are? What values she has? And then what you have to ask yourself is like, what man do you have to become? Does that woman want you? Be honest about that. I saw Andrew Tate actually talk about that the other day.
That.
Right?
So, like, he is becoming that man who will attract that kind of woman, right?
That's our whole premise.
Would that woman
Gynergy.
even want you?
Right?
Yeah. Like,
That's right.
And a lot of guys, unfortunately, it's one of the biggest limiting beliefs a lot of guys have. They think it's about the money, it's about the success, it's about the height, it's about, those are such limiting beliefs. I can find so many counterexamples to guys. Like, and personally with me, I've always been like this. I've been 6'4", you know, forever, and I struggled with women horrendously. I could sit here and tell you horror stories.
I want to hear some of them.
I could share them if you want me to. I remember this girl, I liked her, and I used to pick her up and drive her to school. And then one day I forgot to get her, and I started panicking, right? And she was already into me, and we were dating. I went out and I bought her a sorry card for not picking her up to school. I thought it was the best idea ever, with some chocolate. And I walk up to her, and I have this card, and she's all excited, and she reads this card saying, I'm sorry for like not picking you up in the morning. And then I saw all attraction die in her eyes in that moment. And she started dating some like bad boy the week after. And so, yeah, I was just a super nice guy, repulsed woman in my life for many years. So, but yeah, so it's the vision of what you want, who you want to become, and then challenge those beliefs. And then then you go down to the practicality of like where you find these women, like how many women are you actually approaching per week and stuff like that. So
I thought that was kind of cute, but
Not everybody's just.
She didn't like it.
Yeah, I could see. Okay, I love that. That's a great example. And where would be some great places to meet a woman?
Yeah, the conventional advice is like, what are you into? Other than cross, yeah. What are you into, right? Like the girl I'm dating now, I met her at yoga.
Yeah.
You know, struck up the conversation with her. But I didn't go there for girls. I love yoga. I love the practice of yoga, right? The gym, obviously, is a good one. Yeah, exactly. The gym, but everyone should be every guy should be working out, right?
Yeah.
I used to go to this rock climbing gym here, the Mesa gym, Mesa Ram. Yeah. It's a good spot. I mean, all the farmers markets, coffee shops.
Just put yourself in places that the person that you desire to be your partner would be at, that you're going to be.
The beach over the summer. You go to the beach over the summer, like wind and sea, and, you know, strike up a conversation.
Okay. So there you go, single guys. No excuses. You have all the tools, all the tips.
I think what holds guys back when they're single, though, is not the finding the girls, because they're like rejecting when they even see them. Their reticular activation system's probably even rejecting that they even see the girl. It's the fear of not knowing what to say. And a lot of guys feel like they have to say the right things. That's one of the biggest limiting beliefs. Because I used to be a dating coach, I used to teach this, and it's like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Really is. Like
the energy behind it, the confidence
you
behind it, right?
You could walk up to a girl and say almost anything. Like so there's a phrase that Owen Cook taught me, like there is no opener. You can walk up to a girl being like, oh my God, the other day, going to a random story, you didn't even meet the girl yet. She's gonna fall into your frame, because you're accepting that it's okay to walk up to a girl and just tell a story to her, and it's normal. So she'll accept that it's normal. Anyways, I can go on and on about that.
No, that's beautiful. I think people need to hear that for sure, because there is way too much pressure that we put on ourselves that everything has to be perfect.
She feels the pressure. She feels it.
We can feel that.
Oh, yeah.
We can feel that.
Women are so intuitive. If he's feeling anxiety, then she's going to feel anxiety.
And then women don't want that. They want to feel safe, secure. They want to feel led.
Humorous.
Humorous, that's important.
Humor is good.
Yeah, lighthearted.
Oh yeah, if you can make the girl laugh, that's your
game over.
Yeah, it's game over.
Don't try too hard to make the girl laugh. Just naturally,
allow
them to happen. when it happens.
Exactly.
So, okay, so that's single. Let's say there's a man that's in a relationship.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're just on this cycle, this treadmill of just, or like hamster wheel of like the same cycle keeps happening over and over again. And they feel disrespected, they feel frustrated, they don't know whether to get off the wheel and be done with that or to continue on. What would be a way that they could look within and really figure out whether the right thing to do is get off the wheel, because maybe there's just some toxic relationships, or if it's something that they can shift and some strategies that they can implement within them to change those outcomes?
That's what I dealt with in my last relationship, and the conclusion I came to after all that was, if two people are willing to work on it together, then there's a chance. But if one person is not taking any responsibility, they're blaming the other person for everything, and they're not even one conversation about like, yeah, this is me too, or this is my part in it. I don't see a way things can improve. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
But one of the things too, Garen, which I really, as a teacher now of sorts, is I'm obsessed with actually how does information actually go from here to here? And a lot of times it's hard to see the forest when you're in the trees, meaning that like, you can tell, we can give everyone else advice for their stuff, but when you're in it, your emotions literally blind you to what's going on. Yeah. And that's when you got to go see an expert, right? Like reading books is helpful, but truly talking to someone else who's been on your journey or has helped others on your journey, and they can see within seconds, knowing exactly what to say to point out that blind spot. That's the best way to like honestly have that growth. But it has to start with like, does that person even want to work on it with you?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, this was really great. And I think that we're probably going to have to do this again because there's so much for you to share and so many different strategies I think that we could really dive into and get down. But before we leave today, what would be something that you'd want to share just from your heart, from your soul, from your life, just a piece of advice that you can give to anybody that's watching?
I believe we're on this planet for lots of reasons, but one of them is to grow, to learn. And I've done a lot of psychedelic experiences, and I'm taking credit from my friend Kevin here, but I think the biggest area of growth you can have in your life is within the context of a romantic relationship. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just there's something about getting that close to someone else. They can just see these parts of you that are preventing love and connection. And so when you can actually take the perspective that this relationship has helped me grow and I want to grow as a person, I mean, from there, it's just about, going through the obstacles and finding them that they're the way, right? So relationships are the best domain to really grow as a human being, I would say.
I love that.
I couldn't agree more.
Definitely grown a lot from this relationship.
Yeah, I've grown the most in this relationship.
That's very grateful.
So
for you.
Cool.
Yeah, very grateful for
your
her.
guys'
Every day.
Your guys' combined energies creates almost like this third force of like combined energy that just grow. You guys grow. It propels you forward together.
You know what that's called?
Tell me.
The Gynergy effect.
The Gynergy effect.
Yeah, it's this amplified energy.
Yeah.
Magnetic amplified energy.
I love that. That's where it stemmed from. That's where it got, because everyone's like, your guys' energy is so, it's like magnetic. And we're like, we got let's make something from that.
It's crazy when two full people come together and what they can create.
Yeah. It's been a long journey to be the person, the man that would attract this human being into my life.
Yeah. We always say 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 equals infinity, which is also our logo.
I love learning more about that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, if somebody's looking for you or wants to dive in, tap in with you, how would they find you?
The best place to go is the Marriage Reset YouTube channel.
Okay.
Like hundreds of videos of content, and there's links always in the videos down below to set up a call with our team if they want additional help.
Josh, both Yessie and I are so grateful for you joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And look forward to continuing this conversation.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the audience really appreciated this too, and we appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us with the Gynergy Effect podcast. We're on a mission to impact lives and change the world. It just happens one ripple at a time. Please come in, check out our next episode. If you really enjoyed this, share this, like this, subscribe to it, and we look forward to seeing you next week on the Gynergy Effect. Thank you.
Thank you.
If this episode spoke to your soul,
share it with someone you love and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'd love to connect.
and remember, your energy is your power. Use it with intention.